In many ways, yes, but I wouldn't put everything on Netanyahu, by the way, because I think there is a majority in Israel's public opinion in favor of continuing this war. That's very unfortunate, but that's a matter of fact. Israelis want Hamas to be punished for the 7th of October. So it's not only Netanyahu, it's not like he's pushing. There are others who are pushing more than him to renew the war. By the way, when we say renew the war, it's also a question in which intensity. And as your reporter Raoul just reported us now, it seems that it's going to be in full intensity.
So after the 1 week of humanitarian pause in Gaza, it was meant for prisoner exchange and also for some humanitarian aid to get into Gaza, because the people in Gaza were going through too much and something needed to be done. You know, when you live in an area that doesn't have any of these crises, right? Like your area is beautiful, you can afford what you want, you can eat, you can sleep. You really do not think about food and shelter as a priority, right? Because it's just there. You can access it whenever you want. So it's not a priority to you. Like water is not a priority. Food is not a priority because it's like I can get it whenever I want. But if you are someone living in Gaza, then you come to realize that food, water, and shelter are the most important things that you need in your life at the moment. Forget any other thing people might be talking about, but these three things are very important. And if your area is under siege, under huge bombardment, that food cannot even get in, you see your friends starving, you see your family, your parents, your children starving, you see your life slowly degenerating into something you can never think of. It's done to you that the world is quite a cruel place. So let's watch this interview. It was done after the end of the humanitarian truce in Gaza, and this was carried out by TRT World. Is a Russian broadcaster. So let's hear what they had to say in this interview.
I'm not sure if you have an answer to this question, but I will ask it anyway. What is on Netanyahu's mind?
That's very hard to tell. He was quite committed to continue the war, and this is what he is doing. What does he want to achieve? That's another question, because there is no end game here. Nobody ever in Israel said, except of those slogans, crashing Hamas, which is something very vague. Except of this, and obviously releasing the hostages, which was stopped at once. And I'm very afraid that this goal will now have to wait, if at all, because there will be no exchange as long as Israel is bombing Gaza. So altogether, the most expected thing happened this morning. The war was renewed without knowing what is the end game, without knowing what do you want to achieve, and above all, without knowing what will be on the day after.
So would it be fair to say that Netanyahu at this point is acting with rage and that we are back to where it all started from, the 8th of October, the day after Hamas infiltrated Israel?
In many ways, yes, but I wouldn't put everything on Netanyahu, by the way, because I think there is a majority in Israel's public opinion in favor of continuing this war. That's very unfortunate, but that's a matter of fact. Israelis want Hamas to be punished for the 7th of October. So it's not only Netanyahu, it's not like he's pushing. There are others who are pushing more than him to renew the war. By the way, when we say renew the war, it's also a question in which intensity. And as your reporter Raul just reported us now, it seems it's going to be in full intensity.
And that is the question we've all been asking. That is the question we've all kept asking ourselves. Where would all these people go? Where would 2.2 plus or minus people go? They evacuated the north of Gaza to the south of Gaza because Israel told them the south, that's where you will be safe. And when they left the north of Gaza to the south of Gaza, they thought they would be safe there. And now Israel is currently bombing the south of Gaza. Khan Younis, that is the second largest town in the Gaza Strip, has been totally ruined. So where would these people go? Where would the people go? And like most people have been asking this question, what is the end game? What do they hope to achieve? Except from what they've echoed, eradication of Hamas, which people thought that is a very, very vague objective. Very vague. How are you going to do that? What was the plan in doing that? You've been bombing Gaza for how long now? 2 months plus? You still is unable to rescue any of the hostages. You are still unable to know exactly where the hostages are. You are still unable to know exactly where Hamas leaders are. Because trust me, if Israel knew where the Hamas leaders were, they would have gone there, stormed the area, brought out the leaders, put them on national television, and broadcast them to the rest of the world. Because believe me, Benjamin Netanyahu is appealing to the Israelis' internal population. And that was why I believe, this is my own take, that was why they published videos and photos of Gazian men being rounded up, blindfolded, hands tied behind their backs, kneeled down, and stripped to their underwear. That was the main reason why those images and videos were led to circulate all over the internet. Because I believe that the IDF, under the leadership of Benjamin Netanyahu, wanted to show strength, wanted to show to the Israelis public that they are doing a fantastic job in Gaza and they will eradicate Hamas as they have promised. That might be a very good reason why they did what they did. And now it has backfired on them. Because I have come to realize one thing since I started following this thing in Gaza, this Israel's bombardment and the siege of Gaza. I have realized one thing. The urge for Israel the authorities, let me make that distinction very clear, the authorities, the urge for the Israeli authorities to prove to the general Israeli public that they are actually succeeding in what they set out to do has always been a failure to the authorities. They have put out information that people with more knowledge about the subject have debunked. They brought out a calendar citing it was the names of Hamas terrorists. It was debunked as just the days or weeks or months of the year. They brought out a well thought out plan about a bunker under the Ashifa hospital and how that was the place the Hamas or terrorists were conducting their whole operation. That there was a very huge operation center beneath Ashifa Hospital. Then they stormed the hospital. And what did we get out of it? Inconclusive evidence of Hamas using that facility as their operating center. BBC was quick to point out some inconsistency with their so-called proof that Hamas was using that facility to carry out their operations. It was proven. And if that was not enough, they went to Khan Yunis, rounded up the men, stripped them to their underwear, blindfolded some of them, had them kneel down in a very humiliating situation, took images of them, videos of them, posted them online. We can see one person carrying a weapon and handing it over to the IDF. And according to them, those people were Hamas fighters surrendering to the Israelis' defense forces. But media personnel or specialists in situations like that were quick to point out that if those people were really surrendering, if those people were really Hamas terrorists or fighters, how come there are just but fewer guns in that location first? And this person who is handing the gun had a video where the gun was with the left hand and another video where the gun is in the right hand. So what are you guys telling us? So people were quick to debunk it as Israel trying to stage that scene. So if at this point you still believe the Israeli authorities that they are not cooking up things, then, well, I don't know who you really are. But let us know in the comment section below. What do you think about this whole issue in Gaza? And how is it going to end? Like, what is Israel's end game? Share that thought with us in the comment section below. Because we love hearing what you have to say. Please kindly like this video, share this video, follow this YouTube channel because that helps us a lot and we shall forever appreciate.